if you want to destroy your finances fast, follow these 3 rules like I did. I made money super early in my career and I thought I was killing it, but I made some mistakes. I upgraded my lifestyle, I swiped my credit card like it was free money, and I never had a real financial plan other than just make more money. Within a couple of years, I went from over $1 million earned and $100,000 in the bank to broke. Not because I didn't earn enough, but because I didn't follow the right rules. And in fact, I followed the wrong rules, the 3 that I'm going to share with you today. And there is a scary part, and that is those are the exact same rules that most people live by every single day, whether they know it or not. And I want to share these with you so you avoid those mistakes. If you're new here, I'm Christopher. I became an entrepreneur at 20, made my first million by 25, and now I share the lessons that I learned the hard way to help 9-to-5 and self-employed professionals to free themselves by taking control of things like their money, their time, and their mindset so they can actually enjoy the life that they're building along the way. In this video, again, I'm going to be breaking down the worst 3 ways or 3 rules to manage your money. In other words, how to not manage your money. And these are the 3 things that you're going to not want to do if you want to build wealth, stay sane, and not wake up drowning in stress every single day. But the good news is I'm not just here to rant and make up for past mistakes. After each of these 3 rules, I'm going to flip it and share with you what actually works, something that's simple, that's sustainable, and smart, so you can avoid these mistakes. And these are the same things that I'm doing now since I learned from these 3 mistakes to rebuild from the ground up. So if you've ever felt like your money disappears the second you make it, or that you should be doing better with your money, just know you're not alone. So let's go ahead and get started with rule number 1, and that is upgrade your lifestyle whenever you make more money. Remember rule number 1, if you want to go broke, every time you make more money, spend more money. It sounds pretty ridiculous and kind of like common sense, but this is exactly what I did. I made a big sale. Guess what? I bought a new house. My business started growing like crazy, so I bought my ex-girlfriend a new car. Had a record month in my business. It's time to go celebrate, baby. We're going traveling and we're going to some raves. And on the surface, it looked like I was leveling up because that's what I was taught is like, oh, all these people around me are making a bunch of money. They have these nice lifestyles. You know, the grind pays off. And then I would reward myself because that seemed like common sense as well. There's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself until it becomes your baseline, that every time you make more money, you just spend it. Here's the problem. Your expenses grow just as fast, if not faster, than your income. And suddenly it becomes like this roller coaster because no matter how much money you're making, you're still kind of living paycheck to paycheck. But now you're just doing it with a nicer couch, maybe a newer house, and a bigger payment on everything. And I like to call this lifestyle creep. It's sneaky, it's super dangerous. It's like that dopamine hit of making more money and getting the new purchase. They quickly fade, but the cost of those things stick around. Before you know it, your income is totally maxed out, not because it's too small or you're not making enough money, but because your lifestyle is just too damn big. I definitely learned this the hard way, and because of this, I've had to kind of restart my life. So you tell yourself, oh man, I made more money. You know what? I deserve this. And maybe you do because you work hard. But what you don't deserve is the stress that comes whenever your income takes a dip, but your lifestyle doesn't. That shit is incredibly stressful. Here's what happens. The money will slow down. Sometimes you'll begin to panic, you'll cut some corners, you feel trapped, you start sacrificing your peace of mind just to maintain an image that was never sustainable in the first place. It's that idea of doing things to impress people or yourself when in reality, like nobody gives a shit, just do you. And that's the real cost of lifestyle creep is it's not the stuff, it's the pressure. So I want to teach you how to avoid this, and here's how we can flip this rule, and that is live below your means, especially or even when you don't have to. It's not deprivation. I promise you, it's true freedom. Living below your means, it's what gives you that space, that margin. In other words, power. So you're not trapped on this rat race or this hamster wheel. When you make more money, you don't have to spend more. You can just stack cash, which feels super good. You can pay off all your debt. You can buy yourself time by hiring people or support or getting better tools. You can build a runway for your next move. So if you want to switch careers, you're not stressed out. Or you can just simply enjoy the fact you have money and breathe. Real peace doesn't really come from having more. Unfortunately, it comes from needing less. That's the key. And it's really not about being cheap either. I like to live lavishly if I can, but it's really about being smart. You can still enjoy your money because you made it, but do it intentionally, not automatically where you just spend it. You want to upgrade your lifestyle with purpose, not impulse, because looking rich and being rich are 2 completely different things. And I learned that the hard way. And by the way, if you'd like to learn more about these lessons and other things to help you through finances, I've dropped a free personal finance guide in the description. Feel free to check that out. So now let's move on to rule number 2, and that is use credit cards for everything. So use credit cards and then only pay minimum payment. So be sure to remember rule number 2 if you want to stay broke, and that is to put everything on a credit card and just pay the minimum payment. That probably sounds stupid or like a joke, but this is exactly how millions of people live every single day. And I'm not judging because I did that shit myself. Swipe for gas, buy some food, new computer, client gift, whatever, thinking, oh, I'll figure it out later. I can always make more money. But later just turned into more debt that piled up faster than I could pay down. Here's the trap with credit cards is they feel like free money because you're just like, oh, you don't have to really pay for it right then and there. And it's free until it's not. You pay $25 now with the minimum payment, let's say, to avoid the $500 you owe. But what are you really doing if you use credit cards and you only make the minimum payment? Well, you're signing up to kind of pay for everything you've already bought twice over because of interest. If you're only paying the minimum payment, you're not going to get ahead. You're just renting your past purchases in the future. And that interest, it's crazy. It compounds faster than you can imagine. Credit cards, don't get me wrong, can be tools, but they're not safety nets, and they definitely shouldn't be the default. So here's what you want to do instead. Don't use it unless you can pay it off monthly or ideally weekly. So again, don't use your credit cards unless you for sure can pay it off monthly at the longest, but ideally weekly, period. And if you can't do that, use debit or use a credit card with a hard spending limit that you manually track, not emotionally. Log it like you would a business or like an accountant would. And if you really want to stay in control, you can set a calendar reminder or an auto pay each week. Pay the credit card off in full. Treat it like a bill, not a surprise. Credit isn't a bad thing. It's a great tool, but using it blindly or recklessly will get you in trouble because you're, again, borrowing on your future peace today. Credit cards are like fire. They can cook your dinner or they can burn your house down. It all depends on how you use it. And trust me, points, cash back, all that other shit, no free flight is worth the stress of trying to look successful or not being able to pay them off. Use the card, but do not let them use you. And our third and final rule is make and spend money with no plan. So the third rule for staying stuck financially is to make and spend money with no plan, no system, no idea where anything is going or how you're planning on managing your money. For a while, this feels okay, especially when you're earning a lot of money. Like when I earned $40,000 or $90,000 in a month, I didn't give a shit. But here's the problem. Money with no plan always disappears. If you don't have a plan for your money, the world does, I promise. And I lived like that. I didn't track anything. I told myself, oh, I'm good with money because the money just kept coming. But what I didn't realize is that I had no idea where it was going. And by the time I needed it for a plan I made, I had nothing left to plan with. Remember, money is a great servant. It's a terrible master. It's a tool. And if you don't tell it where to go, well, someone else is going to have a plan on what to use it. Lifestyle creep, interest from credit cards, the payments, new shit to buy. It's going to get the best of you after a while. So here's how we solve rule 3 so you don't go broke. And that's create a system for your money. I hope you're taking notes. Let's clear some room on this whiteboard. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to make this system for your money. So moving forward after today, this is nice and easy for you. Okay, let's talk about this system for your money. So the first thing you're going to want is a budget. So for this budget, it's not just tracking, but assigning a role or a plan for each dollar. The second tool, you're going to want a balance sheet. And your balance sheet is going to help you to know your income, your debts, and your net worth so you can track it over time. And then the last thing you're going to want is goals. So these are short and long-term goals that help you to have a long-term plan for your money. They don't need to be complex. It's just something to aim at. You don't need anything crazy for this. You can use a spreadsheet or even a notepad and it'll totally change the trajectory of your life. Money loves clarity. If you respect it, it will respect you and it'll have your back versus playing you like a little puppeteer. So let's do a quick recap. How to not manage your money. Rule number 1, upgrade your lifestyle whenever you make more money. If you want to avoid this, live below your means as much as humanly possible. Rule number 2, use credit cards and only make minimum payments. If you want to avoid this, use them only if you can pay them off in full. ideally every week or at the latest every month. And rule number 3, make and spend money without a plan. If you want to avoid this, build a simple system for your money. I'd recommend having a budget, 50, 30, 20. I think I made a video on that. You could check it out. Balance sheet, simple spreadsheet to track your income, your assets, your debts, and your net worth. And goals, knowing where you're going to go with your money, what your plans are. The biggest thing I've learned about money is you don't need to be perfect. In fact, you can't be, you just need to be intentional. Again, if you don't have a plan for your money, the world does. These are the 3 rules that I learned the hard way and now I'm avoiding as I rebuild my finances. And they actually work. That's the important thing. Don't forget, you can grab my free personal finance guide in the description below to help you out and teach you more than I can in this video. If this video taught you something or you found it valuable, maybe it reminded you of what you already know, please like, comment, and subscribe, and feel free to share it with someone else who wants to get unstuck financially. Your money should work for you, not the other way around. That's what I've learned the hard way. And never again. Hopefully this helps. Much love, my friend.